So let's do some analysis on this story. We're joined on the phone by political scientist Dr. Asante. Doc, we're grateful for your time here on Newsdesk. First of all, how do you read into the fizzling out of this group in a short time? I mean, you have been around long enough. Is it consistent with the trend, or are you actually surprised at this particular one? Hello, Dr. Asante. Dr. Asante, can you hear me? Well, it appears we do not have Dr. Asante on the line, but we're working the phone lines to bring him back to have some conversation on the back of this story. A year on of Fix the Country movement, what has become of the group? How do you measure the success of the group? You heard that some of the lead activists say they have been successful, at least in getting people to voice out their concerns, to be vociferous on issues of national interest. Is that really the measure for the success of such movements? And given that after just a year we do not see much on the front line, would you say that the group has been successful? Dr. Asante joins us back on the line. Doc, I'm grateful that you could join us. And I was just making the point that you have been here long enough. You've seen similar movements over the years. Are you surprised at what has become of this movement, or is just consistent with the trend?
Oh, I think they've done their best. They've been able to bring their grievances out. And some of the things they said are the realities of the ground. There's no doubt about that. All right? All these type of movements, yes, this is what they do. But the problem is how they will be able to sustain the effort. And that's the difficulty they face today. Some of it is born out of the fact that some of the demands, you find it difficult to sustain that on the street. You recall that they said that among the things that they were looking forward to government fixing include changing the constitution, changing the political system, and the whole lot. The political system is a big concept. All right, so if you are looking for that, you are going to have a difficulty. In addition to this, they also talk about what? They want development and all that. Development is not a one-day thing. It takes a long while. So if you want that. So I was advising those days when we were talking about the issue that it should take the form of an anomic pressure group. This is a pressure group that are born out of circumstances. So you take something little, you drum home, and then you gain support, you move on to another thing. Yes. So that should have been the strategy. But they knew they had their game plan, and they did their best. We need such groups who will use legitimate means to bring to attention concerns of people to the doorstep of what holders of political power. There's absolutely no wrong about that. But all these things, you do it within the framework of the law. They've done their bit, but there are lots that they need to do if they want to sustain themselves.
They blame government attack on some of their leading members for what is now the inactivity of the group or its activeness at the front line. Would you say that is legitimate, or it's only perceived?
They have to define to us what the government attack is. I don't know, so I cannot speak to that issue.
Well, they cite the prosecution of Oliver Barker-Vormawor as one of them.
Oh, that issue, I'll not go into it, but if the leader is not part of the group, obviously it's the going concern, so the group must survive with other members of the group holding the fort, all right? But it all boils down to one of the things is that you need to have what? Every organization, you need somebody who, that person will organize the system for you. The person will be able to what? Stand in when there is somebody who's a key person who's absent and all that. These type of arrangement ought to be made so that they can sustain themselves.
Would you say the group has been successful, given what it set out to achieve? And key amongst them was the fact that they say people could not even express themselves. Today, they are saying they are unable to be as active as they want to be because government is clamping down on the activities and hounding some of their people. Would you say that they have been successful in that regard?
if you look at what they've done, as you have pluses and then you have minuses. The pluses is that there are some genuine issues they brought to the fore, i.e. unemployment, i.e. issue of what? Development and a host of them. They were the realities of the ground, and they were able to bring it to the attention of everybody. And for me, that's a plus. All right. The weaknesses, some of them include organization. That I am sure they were not able to organize themselves so well to sustain their efforts on the street. All right. That's a difficult. And then the path they chose to be talking about all manner of issues. If you are a pressure group, there is a extent to which you can go if you really want your voice to be heard. And that's why all the while I was advocating that they should take the path of anomic civil society organization or interest group, so that they take some little issue, look at it, discuss them, and then move to another one. And that one is getting more relevant. But if you take on things that have one long gestation period, then I'm afraid you are going to battle it. You won't get to the end, and people become tired and all that.
Very finally, Doc, if you could just give me a quick response to this. Let's look at government's response to the issues they raised, and whether you think that our government are becoming immune to such movement and the pressure that is being piled to address very pertinent issues.
Oh, some of the issues they raised, issue about fuel pricing, issue about unemployment, they're new issues. That nobody can deny that. But as to whether you are going to get them within the shortest possible time, that's a difficult. That's why the strategy comes in. Which one would I take it on or take on board? Government will respond to it quickly. That you need to figure it out very well. For me, that was missing in their work. But for me, as a student of democracy, I believe that these are some of the important components of democratic rules, which we want them to be around at all times, provided they work within the framework of the law.
Thank you very much. That's Dr. Kwame Asante. He is a political science lecturer at the University of